Asha, welcome to the Lessons of a Lashpreneur show. Thank you so much for replying to come on and talking about Groupon. Before we dive into that, can you tell me a little bit about you and where you're from and what you do?
Yes, so I am from the Tampa Bay area of Florida. I am a Florida girl, love my bright colors, love my Florida State University, love it. I am a mother and a wife. I have 5 children and a grandson.
Yes, girl.
Busy. I'm also a licensed esthetician, massage therapist, and I own a very tiny day spa in Largo, Florida. I actually just hired two young ladies yesterday, so I'm really excited.
Yay!
I know, right? I'm excited, but it's like, okay, what do I do next? So I appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on hiring. I know what a big step that is. It's like, oh, now I'm responsible for more people. Cool.
Yes.
All right, we can definitely get into that. Okay, so your initial on your application, you talked about you utilize Groupon, but you're not loving it and you're wanting to get away from that. Can you kind of share what your experience of Groupon is for those that aren't familiar with it or that are maybe considering using Groupon?
Okay, so Groupon, I'm not going to lie, they have brought me a lot of traffic through the door. Okay. The problem that I've experienced is that people who utilize Groupon, and not to downplay anybody, but they just don't want to respect your pricing when you're trying to wean them off of the Groupons. Some of them are a little wishy-washy. I did at one point had to implement a process where you had to put your card on file. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't show up, I charged your card. That seems to be working very fine for me, but the Groupons, I need more cash paying clients. That's all there is to it. My ratio turnover is actually pretty good. I'm about 86% of turnover, getting them to come back and book another appointment. But again, I want to get away from the Groupons and focus more on cash paying clients.
Okay, cool. So where my brain automatically goes is just looking at the data, right? So what is the data telling us? So I love that you know the number of about 85% of people that come in the door who use a Groupon stay at least one more appointment.
Yes.
Right? So I would actually look at the data of customer lifetime value of a Groupon client versus those that come in from other marketing needs. Right. Groupon really is a marketing lead source. It is, you are paying Groupon by way of the discount and the, so is it still that Groupon basically makes you cut your price in half or more, and then they take half of that as their fee, so to speak?
So they've redone how they do things. When I first started on with Groupon, that's how it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Now they give you more control over how much percentage you want to have them take out, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yes. And what does that mean? Do they not send you out as much if you're taking a bigger cut?
I believe so. How it's optimized, they give you like I wish I could pull it up and show you, but there's like a screen. So when you go to put your prices in, they say stay within the green bar for best performance. If you stay within the green bar, you're going to be shortchanging yourself. Absolutely. So I want to say yes.
Okay. Yeah. So from my experience, and you know, I was very insistent of not using Groupon, and this was, 7 or 8 years ago when I first opened my business, mainly for the 2 reasons that you talked about, is like, you get people who are only seeking the discount, right? There are a few people in Groupon that are looking, they want lashes long-term, but they're a little bit maybe trigger shy or buyer's remorse, that they spend a lot elsewhere and they want to try somebody new, but they don't want to invest a lot of money because they got burned before. Right. That may be the case for some people, but you have no control over who sees that. Most people, especially nowadays, since Groupon has been around so long, when Groupon was still fairly new and everybody was utilizing it as a great way to find new businesses, it's so commonplace now that people are very aware, like, you just go there for the discount and, you know, maybe you return, maybe you don't, but that's not the primary reason that you would use Groupon. So we're looking at it more from like a target market perspective. What I'm hearing you say is that your Groupon clients are not necessarily your target market.
Correct.
Right. So tell me a little bit more of how you know that they don't necessarily respect your pricing and they're a little bit wishy-washy, because those would be target market issues.
They always ask, hey, you know, will you honor this Groupon pricing on my 3rd visit? Or they'll say, well, what's your pricing? It's crystal clear what my pricing is. So there should be no question on, okay, this is how much it is for refills. This is how much it is for a full set. But they just want to, hey, can you give me a little deal? Or if I bring a few people in, can I get a free fill? And I'm like, no.
Okay, so they're negotiators.
Yes.
The hustle.
Yes. I respect the hustle, but I got to make a living too,
Well, and that's your burden and responsibility as the business owner, is how can we structure that, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit to how to utilize Groupon in a way that may or may not work. And then we'll talk about different ways to get to essentially marketing is what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
So if we're talking about utilizing Groupon, we are paying Groupon a large chunk of our sales or by way of discounting the service so much that then we're paying Groupon half. So just for quick math, for those that have never used it, say you have $100 service, that's what your regular price is. Groupon generally wants you to discount it by 50%. So that same $100 service is now $50 that the client's paying on Groupon. Groupon will then take roughly around 50%, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, who knows, of that as their fee for marketing you, basically sending you out in an email blast to their hundreds of thousands of email people. So that's what you're paying for. So now all of a sudden, $100 service equates to about $25 coming into the business. So if that's a $100 full set, that's 2 hours, we're talking about sales of really only coming into the business of $25 over 2 hours. You're looking at $12.50 an hour in pay, right? So that's why Groupon, generally speaking, is not ideal for even just marketing purposes. Because think about it this way, with that same $100 service, if you did marketing really well and you built up maybe even just 200 people on an Instagram account that were potential customers, and you discounted that service by, even if it was a $75 full set, you're losing $25 from your original service, but compared to Groupon, you're making way more money, right? For the same service. So you are outsourcing at a high cost to Groupon.
Yes.
The way that you can utilize Groupon, and I'm glad you kind of have this awareness, is that it's just a lead source to get people in the door. It is up to the business owner to increase customer lifetime value with this lead source of Grouponers. It becomes very difficult to do so when they are very price sensitive market for the most part, because they are only coming to you because of the discount. Now, for me, any sort of these daily deal sites, Groupon sites, Yelp, any sort of ads where I see a discounted service, I'm savvy enough to know if I call the business and say, hey, can I pay you directly that same amount and not go through Groupon? They're like, hell yes, I'm still paying the same amount, but they're getting the benefit of it. And I tend to look like a better client. They tend to treat me a little bit better because they see that like I want to pay them, I want to support them as a business without having to pay the cost of Groupon.
Right.
So that's where it becomes a little bit challenging. So I like that you have whatever process you have in place for when the Grouponers come in, that 85% of them come back. Now you're getting this pricing objection coming in. You're going to get pricing objections no matter what price point you're at, right? Like everybody's always going to want to pay the least amount possible until we look at and pivot their perspective to looking at the value first and not the price. So even when they're saying, hey, can you give me a deal, blah, 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 if I refer friends, blah, 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 blah. Sure. You want to refer friends? For every referral, I'm happy to offer you $20 off a service after that client comes in and pays. They can't come in off a Groupon pricing, so they're going to be paying the full price, but you'll get the benefit of the discount if you refer a friend, right? So I'm looking for the win, because now all I'm doing is I'm paying this Groupon client essentially $20 by way of a discount. That's my cost to market, to have them go out and do the word of mouth marketing.
Yes.
Right. So I'm actually ahead of the game utilizing this Grouponer to go do some word of mouth marketing at a much cheaper rate than if I paid Groupon to go do that.
Right.
So there is the opportunity to utilize Groupon more. I also would be looking at, how can I upsell these clients, right? How can maybe they're coming in on a classic, but I get them in on a hybrid fill. Right. Or I get them to purchase retail. It's looking at the customer lifetime value. So this might be a fun little deep dive for you.
Yes.
To go look at your data points and look, I don't know how long you've been using Groupon, but look at a period of time, say 6 months of Groupon clients that came back or that came in for their first appointment. How many appointments did they continue to come in for?
I actually have the numbers. So I've been utilizing Groupon. I know it's great.
Favorite question. Oh my God. Okay. Tell me more.
So I've been utilizing Groupon for about 2 years.
Cool.
I will tell you, out of that 2 year ordeal. I have attained 2,500 clients just from Groupon alone that have consistently came back every 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, for how long?
Oh, I would say about 8 to 9 months, 8, 9, maybe 10 months.
Cool. Yes. Okay. So let's just say, let's just say the $25 that came in on their initial appointment, we'll just count that as sales. And then you say, we'll give it an 8-month average that they came back every 2 weeks. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
So
2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Yes.
All right. So we'll say around 60, they come back for 16 appointments. And how much is an average appointment for you?
An average appointment for me, depending, well, if it's a classic refill, they're going to be paying $65 for a refill.
Cool.
If it's a volume, I believe it's 85, and if it's hybrid, it's 100.
Okay. So we can even look at what do they tend to stick with? Do they tend to be more hybrid, volume, classic, whatever?
Volume and classic.
Volume
Yes.
classic. Okay. So I'm just going to be conservative with the numbers. You can actually go back and actually look at the data, but let's say we have our $25 as the sales that we attain from Groupon. And then they come back for an average of 16 appointments at $65, the classic fill, over the course of their life. So that's $1,040 for just the fills. So add the $25 for the full set on there. What is your full set? What is your Groupon price? Let's get you an actual.
Let's see. Normal price for a classic full set for me is $125. I think for Groupon it was like $79, I believe.
All right, so $79. And then do you know what you got from that $79?
I want to say roughly around maybe $36, $37, $38.
Okay, so we'll call it $36 that you received. So that $1,040 plus the 36. So you're looking at your customer lifetime value of a Groupon client to be $1,076.
Okay.
At any given point, right?
Okay.
Not bad, right? So we can look, so that gives us the starting point of, do we want to continue to utilize Groupon or not? So now we would look at the other clients that did not come in off of Groupon. So they came in off the $125 full set with however we marketed it.
Right.
Did they tend to stay just as long, less, more? Because that will help you determine, is Groupon a great lead source to get clients in the door?
Okay. I want to say it's a mixture. I have some that have stayed, and I have some that, like I said, they're Grouponers. They want to chase after the deal.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
But this is where the data point comes in, because it doesn't sound like you have that data point as clear.
No, that I don't.
Groupon. So that would be that's where I would start to look to even see if we need to get rid of Groupon. Because if your customer lifetime value is, there's two different ways we could look at it. Customer lifetime value is less than Groupon. Why change from Groupon? It seems to be working, right? We can take the emotion out of it and this like frustration of they are deal seekers and all the meaning we're putting on those conversations, and just look at what your process is to retain those clients and grow the sales. If we also want to look at volume of people, right? Like volume of clients coming in. You said you had over 2 years, about 2,500 people utilize Groupon.
From Groupon,
if your regular marketing methods are maybe you've only had 200 people over 2 years that came in any other way, we have a much difference in volume. And so Groupon seems to work with volume. Maybe we need to work on increasing customer lifetime value and be more intentional about the Groupon clients, because we're getting a lot of volume, especially now that you have a team.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so, you have a lot more expenses going out if they don't have clients.
Correct.
So if we can get volume of clients, that may work.
Okay. I think it's like you said, the emotion. It's the emotion for me.
100%.
It's the emotions. Yes.
So let's solve for that problem, because if the numbers, right, if the numbers make sense that you continue to use Groupon and you're cash and money in the bank, we can work on our feelings about it.
Okay.
Because
you're right about that.
The business is independent of Asha.
Yes.
Asha and the business are not codependent, right? The label that we put and the meaning we put on, oh my God, I use Groupon, like this dirty little red letter that's on you, like, oh, it's such a shameful thing. It's like, if you're making money at it, who cares?
Right? I am making the money off of it. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the meaning of it then. Let's talk about the emotion part of it. What is the biggest frustration you have when surrounding any sort of Groupon situation?
Good question. What is my biggest issue?
I don't know.
Well, number one, I did actually stop the Groupon ads for a while because it was just too many people and it was just only me by myself. So I think that in itself, it was getting a little bit overwhelming. It was too much traffic coming in through the door. And then on top
darn,
of that,
such problems. Okay.
I know, right? But it was just like, it's little things, some are not showing up on time. They're, kind of complaining about my full pricing. It's really just trying to wean them off of the Groupons. I think is my biggest issue.
So what do you mean wean them off? Because the math, the numbers are saying that 85% book out their next appointment. Is it?
And they do.
Yeah,
they do.
So what is it you're saying that weaning them off? It sounds like you have a pretty good track record of weaning them off.
I do, but they always revert back to, hey, if I buy another Groupon, we honor it. It's like, no, it's that one Groupon per customer I'm really strict about accepting how many Groupons that one person can have. They just want to Groupon you to death. Like they don't mind paying.
They want to. Look, they want free services. They want a pony. I want a Lamborghini. Like they can want whatever they want. That doesn't mean they get it. And from what I'm understanding, you have a really good conversion rate off of the Groupon into a regular priced client. So what is the meaning or the emotion you're putting into they want to Groupon you to death? Like, good Lord, they want to kill you with a Groupon. Like, that's extreme language, right?
Yeah.
So what meaning or what emotion are you putting into them continuing to ask for a deal or a discount?
It's just, I don't want to accept the Groupon pricing from someone who's already booked the appointments with me. I just don't
totally understand. But it seems to be because you're not allowing that to happen.
No, absolutely not.
Your emotion is getting stuck on the fact that they even ask.
Probably so. I think I feel a little insulted. It's like,
okay.
I do. Low key, I really do feel a little like, okay, I'm really fast on my lashing. It does not take 2 hours.
So you're equating them asking for a discount as to minimizing the value and the result that you get.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. How's that belief serving you?
Not so well, because I'm stuck in my head about it. It's just causing a lot of frustrations for me with the new people that I've just added on. They're all for the Groupons. I just don't want to, me personally, I just don't want to accept the Groupon clients. I just don't want to deal with the Groupons at all, if that makes any sense.
Okay, again, why?
I don't know. I just have like a bad attitude about the Groupons. I just do not know why I have beef with Groupon, to be honest with you. I don't know. Maybe it's
because you very well.
Yes, it has.
Perspective.
Yes.
So again, I'm trying to understand the emotion that you're bringing into it is not based on the business.
Yes.
Because the business data is telling you this is a really great lead source, that you have a really good way of converting clients into becoming full price paying clients. And where Asha is getting in the mix of really jacking up this system that seems to be working is your feelings about it.
Yes. I'm going to agree with you on that one, Tara. Yes.
Yeah. So and this is a beautiful conversation. Believe me, there's tons of codependency in running a business that we need to detach. And this has been the biggest transformation in me when I shut the business down and then came back and was really like, the business is going to tell me what the business needs. Any resistance to me making a business decision is my work to do as the owner, because I keep getting in the way of the business growth. Right. Because I'm like, oh, that's too heavy. Oh, that's too hard. Oh, that's too whatever, like the emotions around it. Right. So you actually are the cap point of your business growing and scaling, whether it's Groupon or not, because here's what's going to happen. Potentially. I can't predict the future. Let's just say we stop using Groupon altogether.
Right.
How effective is the rest of your marketing to be able to build out clientele for now 2 team members ongoing?
Not very well. I am not a marketing person at all. I have tried. I'm trying. It's like, I don't know where the discord is with the marketing and the social media. I'm just not really good with
because you have something that works. So you haven't had to have the pain point of learning how to do it in an effective way.
Correct. Yes,
why post consistently and all the time it takes to learn how to do Instagram ads and social media and reels and all these things. But all you can do is click a button on Groupon and you get 1,200 clients a year on it.
That's true.
Right. And so again, we're looking at what the business needs. You have a system that works. Now, if Groupon all of a sudden started tanking and like the numbers didn't make sense,
Right.
then we can start to look at where's our time and energy better spent to learn how to market stably. But I would love it if you had Groupon continuing to provide for your team members. We start to transition you out of the treatment room. That's a whole other conversation we can have.
Yes.
But transitioning you out of the treatment room. So now you can start to learn, how can I either outsource somebody to have different marketing channels and run those marketing channels for me, or I learn those enough to be dangerous and then outsource it, so that we're not so reliant on one platform that we don't control, right? Groupon could change something at any point, and then all of a sudden goes all your lead sources, or it could be cost prohibitive or whatever. But that is really where I see, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
There's plenty of other things in your business that you could be working on.
You're right.
To optimize it, to increase profitability, to get you out of the treatment room so you're not trading your time for money, get you some time back to grow and scale the business. Like Groupon, I don't think is the problem in your business. The emotion, the insult that you're having. Well, think about it this way. Let's just take you out of the equation for your team members, right? Let's just look at Groupon clients for your team members. If you're not worried about like your team members' ego or their belief of that they're good enough or whatever, and somebody asks for a discount, not even Groupon, just like, hey, can I get $10 off my next appointment? Would you feel insulted, or would you just be like, no, this is our price?
Insulted? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't feel insulted.
Yeah. And so look, we can, I mean, people can ask for discounts all they want.
Right.
We can't control other people.
Right.
But by their behavior, they're still coming back. They see the value because they continue to come back, even though they didn't get the discount. So you're feeding into the emotion of the conversation you have, but you still set the boundary of, no, unfortunately, the Groupon is just a one-time thing, and this is our pricing ongoing. And 85% of those people are like, all right, I'm coming back. The same thing with price increases, right? It's like people can bitch and complain that your price increases. And like, the more you try to justify your price increase to someone, the more they have to complain about it and like, be like, well, but I've been with you for so long. This is where we get into like grandfathered pricing of like old clients, that want new client. It's all that, like, they're so afraid of disappointing people or like putting their head in people's wallets. But yet those clients still come back. They can bitch and complain all they want, but they're getting the results.
Right. Right.
So we don't have to justify why we charge what we charge, right? They're probably, I mean, it's not your responsibility to make sure that your prices are affordable for everyone.
True. And I have increased my prices. When I first started, they were really low. They were low. And then I just started increasing them over time. So absolutely. Yes.
Right. And so you can look at it that way too, is like, we have a really great lead source that works to convert. So again, if I'm just looking at the data and not in your head about the conversations you're having that trigger you for whatever reason, and that's your work to do, to get curious as to like, why am I insulted over somebody asking for a discount, which clients we can come to expect. You've had 2,500 experiences of this. Generally speaking, people want a deal and a discount. Well, no shit, they came in under that guise.
Yes.
And you could even maximize and take advantage of that. Right. Well, if you buy 5 fills in advance, and you can get one at 50% off.
Yes.
Right. You can look at how you maximize it. Like if I'm looking at customer lifetime value of your Grouponer of 1,076, and you're saying on average, they come back every 8 months. You know what I might do to try and get them to stay a 9th month to increase their customer lifetime value? At month 8, I might have some sort of loyalty rewards thing where after they come for 8 months, they get 50% off services in their 9th month. Because again, if they're traditionally dropping off at month 8, how can we just keep them one more month? Because even if I give them a 50% off discount or $20 off, or, you know, we could do loyalty points or whatever, that if they come for 20 services, they get a certain discount, it's increasing customer lifetime value.
Okay.
Right? So that's an extra 30, 40, $50 on average per client that otherwise they would have dropped off. So you can utilize all this data to look at, how can I make this work even better?
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
You didn't plan on that conversation going this way.
I did not. No. No, I did not.
Actually, might kind of like Groupon now. I don't know. And look, I am certainly not a proponent for Groupon. I never have been. However, I am a proponent for data, and you have a formula and a process that works.
It is working. I will tell you, it's working. It is.
How many people, I mean, maybe you don't know, but there's tons of people that would kill to have even 20 clients a year or 200 clients, and you got 2,500 over 2 years.
Yes.
it seems to be a great lead source in your area. You seem to have a really great, now, if you were only converting 15%, I'd be like, either we need to work on the language or of like converting them to come back, or it's not the right target market.
Right.
But it seems to be working really well. And especially if you want to scale and grow and build out team members and get you out of the treatment room.
Yes.
You've got a really, so look at it that way. Look at it from that perspective.
Okay.
Groupon allows me to scale a team quickly. Because if you pivot your market, you turn off Groupon and all the demand that comes with that, you now have to start kind of, it sounds like from scratch of learning how to market to create that same level of demand. But now you've got team members. So you're still in the treatment room almost full time, taking your full load so you can pay them and still learning how to market and try and get clients in the door. Whereas Groupon seems to be kind of automating some stuff for you.
Yes.
That if you had your team members get 5 new clients in a week, between the two of them, you probably could pull back 4 or 5 clients yourself. Right. And so look at it as how can you utilize what's working in your business to reach your goals?
Okay.
Is your goal to fully be out of the treatment room at some point?
That is my ultimate goal. Like you have, I don't only just lash, I'm also, I massage a lot, I'm doing the facial. So I'm multitasking with different services, but yes, I would like to take a step back.
Yeah. And especially with you having a team now, it's actually costing your business more money for you to be locked in a treatment room for $65 for an hour of time when you could spend that time learning how to do customer lifetime value and get more customers in. So if you get two full sets in for each team member, 1 full set in for each team member in that same hour of time, now all of a sudden you've got $250 of sales coming in from that hour of time, as opposed to you being locked in a treatment room at $65 for a fill.
That makes sense.
So it's leveraging your time more, it's getting you to spend more time on your business and scaling.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So are we going to have a conversation about you joining Society X so that you can learn all these processes and then moving so we can scale from there? Is that where we're headed?
Yes, I would love to. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, I'll give you a little sneak peek, but yeah, once we end this, I will get you set up for a call and we can have that conversation about what that might look like now that you've already hired your team. Yes. But more or less what Society Accelerator is it's actually the process part of our mastermind that we took out of that program, because I found that people that were just hiring their first team member needed processes and needed time to get the financials in order to make sure there's profit in how much they pay. Are you paying commission or hourly or?
I have 2 that are commission, and then I have another one who's going to be jumping on as a booth renter, but he won't be starting until like a month or 2.
Oh, he's not your employee. We can't mention him as an employee. Okay, so to commission. And are they W-2s or are they independent contractors?
Independent contractors.
Okay, so we're gonna have to talk about legalities.
Yes, that's what I don't know.
All right, cool. I got you, boo. All right. Okay, so yeah, the first thing that we cover in Society X is really getting you financially savvy to know what your numbers are as far as like sales, what your operating expenses are, what your cost of goods sold are. So cost of goods sold is the labor and the supplies that are used to deliver the service.
Okay.
So your team members, the revenue generating ones, not like a receptionist or a manager or your owner's pay or anything like that. Your team members who are delivering the service, we have them under a different category of expenses than what it takes to operate the business. Because without those team members, we don't generate the sale, if that makes sense. So it goes into a slightly different category. So we look at all of that data, and I have a spreadsheet that is like super clear on all of this stuff.
I love spreadsheets.
So all you have to do is plug it in and it spits out numbers of like how many fills they need to take in a week or how many services they need to do a week for you to cover your payroll. And then we can look at where else that money's going. We look at your operating expenses and what percentage of total sales your operating expenses are to see if we need to adjust prices. Even we can look at the money that comes in from Groupon to see, is that still profitable in the business with what we pay our team members, and how do we look at customer lifetime value and converting people into regular fill clients and still be making money. Because we may take a loss, right, on that Groupon full set, but if we're making it up in the fills, I'll make that exchange all day long.
Right.
And then in month 2, it's a 3-month program. Month 2, we really hone in on your hiring process. So that is the step-by-steps of even your job description, which we have a template for that's super detailed. That is not just like part-time lash artist if needed, right? It's not just like competitive pay, flexible schedule, like whatever everybody else is doing. It helps you stand out, because your employment and your hiring is marketing, but to employees. So you got to put yourself out there as if you're marketing to your ideal employee type. all the way to how you offer someone a job that's competitive when you're being compared to like a 50% commission model or other pay structures.
Okay.
And then the final month is your onboarding process. So the first 90 days of their employment, what are they doing each shift? Right. And never like, oh, I don't have anything for you to do, like time for you to go home. We have this 90 days to get this person basically becoming a mini Asha who's getting the clients the experience and the results that you can get the clients, so that the business is now responsible for getting the results and the experience, not just the individual or the person.
Right.
So we have a formula and a process that gets that result, and we train to it over 90 days to know, yep, this team member's ready to go, or this isn't working out, off you go. Okay. So that's really what Society X is. It's the Society Accelerator. It's now going to be kind of the lead source into our mastermind. The mastermind is now going to become basically how you manage a team and lead a team and inspire a team and keep team members there, employee retention. It's going to become mindset, because as we discussed today, the business owner's brain oftentimes gets in the way of the business. So we work a lot on the owner's performance.
Yes.
And also marketing. How do you scale your marketing? How do you have consistent marketing? How do you grow marketing for a team and not just a solo person? So all of that to say, if that's you listeners and you're interested in any of that, DM me #hire and let's have a conversation.
Yes.
But otherwise, if I was in your shoes, I would work on the emotion that I'm putting into those conversations.
Okay.
Oftentimes, if I would just kind of play it off as a joke so that I don't take it so seriously. It's like, if a client asks like, oh, well, can I still get the Groupon price? I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be amazing if all we did was Groupon? But unfortunately, the terms apply that you can only utilize the Groupon pricing once. But we are happy to get you in at blah, 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 blah next week, Tuesday at 5 at the regular pricing. And just not even feed into the emotion that comes up for you. And you can even play a game with it. Like for every Grouponer that asks for a discount after 10 discount requests, you go buy yourself a nice little dinner, a little treat, because you survived people asking for a discount and you held your boundary and celebrate it.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, make a game out of it so that you don't have this like, ugh, screw these Grouponers and I never want to use it again, because they are working for your business.
It really is. It is. It really is. I'm not even going to front about it. It has worked for me. Yes. Yes.
Boom. Well, I'm glad we had this conversation then.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much.
If you guys have any questions about how to start, build, and grow your business, hit me up on Instagram. And if you want to learn more about Society X or Mastermind, DM me #hire and we'll talk in the DM. Thanks so much, Asha.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Tara. Thank you. Thank you.